Okay, I wanted to play Elden Ring again, and I wanted to challenge myself a bit. Since, by that point, I hadn't played the game for about half a year, I decided to do something a bit more on the casual side. Rules are as follows. I have to defeat every remembrance boss in the game. I am playing this run region locked, meaning that once I enter the region, I cannot leave a region until I've beaten every remembrance boss in it, and I'm only allowed to use lightning incantations, which just happen to be exclusively Dragon Cult incantations, so this is technically a Dragon Cult incant only run. As usual, we start out by collecting a few things, and attempting to scare off the scarab to jump off the ledge. This doesn't work. Even if he got somehow hit by the lightning around him, this still wouldn't work, as we will witness soon enough. So, we decide to collect a few things, most importantly the physic, and to buy the rare Ash of War off of Bernal. We then return to the scarab where we yell and verbally abuse him until he ultimately decides that it is no longer worth it and jumps off the ledge. Then we collect the Faith tier, level our Talisman to +3, and go fight Margit. This is where I want to quickly go over my predictions for this run. I think that most bosses should be manageable or easy, and that the only relevant potential run enders consist of Renala, since Liurnia is the zone where I'll go next, and her singing kids do have a high FP tax. Fire Giant, simply because I don't know his resistances and the size of his health pool, plus X for the exact same reason. Radabeast, where Radagon's spell parry could invalidate the entire run, and Richard, who once again has one of the biggest HP pools in the game, and I don't know his resistances, and I don't want to Google to find out because I think it's just funnier that way. I think everyone else should probably be somewhere between easy and manageable. But, first up, we need to fight an old man with funny growths and a walking cane.
Biden, blast!
With the old man adequately dead, we begrudgingly talk to a woman.
Your mother is a very handsome woman.
We level up and bum rush it straight to Godric.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
We run to Godric carefully. And we actually dodge the incoming attacks. And with our +3 talisman, we are finally ready to clap Godric.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We change our mind, we take the long way around, and collect enough upgrade materials to bring our talisman to at least a +6, and then we actually try Godric. Now, this was the first time that Godric was actually difficult. Like, the first time ever. Because the ideal distance for Lightning Strike is the exact distance where you don't want to be from Godric. Because that's the distance at which he can use basically all of his ranged and melee attacks, and he has that surprisingly fast jump with which he can interrupt your casting and almost one-shot you if you didn't level Vigor, which we didn't, because we need Faith to actually be able to do any damage to him. Other than that, with good enough accuracy and hitting, I think, almost every single attack, he finally goes down. Next region is, of course, Liurnia. We loot Liurnia for all it's worth. We defeat the knight, and finally gain a spell that isn't Lightning Strike. We then loot the Faith Talisman, all the flask upgrades, upgrade materials to bring our talisman up to a nice and cozy plus 12, and the Lightning Shrouded Crack tier, which will be my main and realistically only buff that I will be using in this run, not because I'm not allowing buffs, but because I'm too lazy to buff. To get that, we first need to kill a tree. But objectively, trees are inferior to animals and fungi, so it's not a really hard thing to do. Then, to get to a cute single MILF, we run through a school full of nerds. We feed the nice local dog some chocolate and move on with our day. Now, I expected the MILF to pose a bit of a problem simply because of the FP tax of her kits. I never really played a caster build before, and I never really noticed everything that's going on inside the boss room. It was extremely frustrating to, well, still on a tight FP budget, to try and see when you can even cast a spell without being interrupted by any of the random bullshit flying through the arena. I ended up taking a break and fighting Loretta because I will need to talk to Rani anyway to get to Estelle. And fighting a crippled woman on a horse is about as much fun as you'll get in Liurnia. I do genuinely think that Loretta is a super fun boss, and I find it almost a bit sad that she has her Shade Spirit clone whatever thing in Carrier manner. I think she would have done a lot better if she was a unique fight that you fight for the first time only when you get to the Havoc tree. Back to Renala, and yeah, I'm still not having fun. But in all seriousness, if you're gonna do this run yourself, just allow yourself to punch the kids. It's gonna save you a lot of headache and it's gonna make the fight a lot more enjoyable. Like, the way I did it just actually isn't fun. So either you're just gonna be ready to pay a health tax to the flying random bullshit around the room, or the fight is gonna take you like upwards of half an hour because you just keep looking for safe spots from which you can actually fire off your goddamn spells, whose casting takes 15 goddamn minutes. And you have to use the slow spells, because if you use your single fast spell, you won't have enough FP to actually last the whole fight. You can just grind levels and get your mind up to remove that problem. But grinding is lame and for babies. If you grind levels, you're a lame baby. And even in this successful attempt, at no point is it fun or does it even look fun. It's tedious at best, and it looks tedious, no matter how you edit it down. And even in this successful attempt, it's like you can clearly see this is simply not how this fight was meant to be played.
Breathe!
Renala's Phase 2, on the other hand, feels a lot more like actually fighting a magic user and not just randomly having to dodge stuff flying around the arena. Other than that, it's just a normal Renala Phase 2. Not the most fun fight, but still a fun fight. And I like that her summons are normal manageable mobs, as opposed to, for example, Niall's Banished Knights. As soon as we finish off Renala, we go talk to Rani to move her quest forward so we can later on fight Estelle for the Remembrance.
mother is a very...
Now, since this is a region lock playthrough, we can't just go to Dragon Barrow to get the other half of the Dectus medallion, so we need to take the long way around and fight Magmower Makar, who, thankfully for a lightning spear build, turned out to be a complete pushover. As soon as we enter Altus, we fight Lanciacs. We decide against fighting Lanciacs and proceed to the Altus Plateau. Then, while on Altus, we go on a little collecting spree, which consists of flask upgrades, the Lightning Scorpion Charm, a Talisman pouch, and more flask upgrades. And since I want my Talisman to be at least at level 15-16 by the time I fight Morgoth, we collect a few more things, and maybe fight an optional boss on the way. DTS was just DTS. Attack a few times, dodge a dozen fireballs, rinse repeat, dodge a lightning, get hit by lightning, dodge a lightning again, heal, attack a few more times, and he dies. Goldfrey is weak to lightning. We use exclusively lightning. Goldfrey likes to lore walk towards you. We have essentially infinite range in his arena. The only thing that could potentially even be easier is, I don't know, beating up an old man who needs a cane to walk. Oh, hey look!
What is thy business with these thrones?
Your mother!
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I feel like FromSoft did Morgoth kind of dirty. He does no real damage, he has no real HP, most of his moves are kinda easily dodgeable, and even if they land, they don't do anything. I mean, it is a disabled man with a walking cane, but still. This fight was so short I didn't even have to edit it down. And this fight tends to be genuinely fun, it's just that it lasts so short. Like, you need to actively nerf yourself to be able to enjoy Morgoth. But yeah, with the elderly utterly disabled, it's time to attack someone mentally disabled who uses a walking aid. After, of course, collecting a few things. While we are a bit overleveled and overgeared, I'm basically fighting him to grind out a few more levels to better be able to fight the fire giant as soon as we decide to go to the mountaintops. Radahn is one of the few fights where using Torrent is actually viable. In my opinion, he's one of the most fun fights in the game, and especially in this build, since he is so large, it's impossible to miss him. After Radahn, since Siofra just opened, we go to Siofra to to attack a defenseless animal. And we take the world's sketchiest elevator to the world's scariest dragonfly. Fear, however, gives way to frustration because the only source of difficulty in this fight are the goddamn janky hitboxes, which Astel has, I would like to say many of, but to give credit where credit is due, he has all of them. Especially the completely misses you with his bite, but you still take damage. And you dodge the whole attack, but there's still an active hitbox 10 feet away from his fucking shoulder. Now, the next big question is to go for Fire Giant or to go for 40 sacks. Now, there's an argument for 40 sacks because you would unlock Death Lightning, which would probably hit Fire Giant a million times and kill him in 4 shots. However, I can't stand 40 sacks, so to the mountain tops it is. But of course we need to go through the setup for Via Sims and later on 40 sacks. We then rid the world of the average redditor. Before collecting some smithing stone 7s and 8s to get our talisman to a comfortable plus 21 or 22. This time we don't forget to pick up the gravelstone seal, which will boost our damage by 15% while in the offhand. And since we are there, we get Millicent's quest going as well, because we will need her quest for the improved canvas talisman.
If your white flesh writhes with scarlet rot.
Your mother is a very handsome woman.
After getting tricked and killed by the disabled, we decide to attack the disabled where it hurts most, their osteoporotic leg. As soon as the leg is broken and we have the disabled on all fours, we go straight for the eyes. Or well, the one remaining eye. After that, it's all about just watching them flail about helplessly and hitting them whenever we can. We then fall victim to our overconfidence.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Falling a draw against the disabled. A good enough result. We let Melina do her thing. And off to Farum Azula we go. After expertly sneaking through the entire zone and looting whatever we can, which most importantly includes the ancient dragon spells, it's time to fight the Godskins. On these more casual runs, the Godskins are never really an issue, and this time is no different. Next up, we have MacLeod, who once again, sadly, because of his really low HP, poses no actual threat at any point in the fight. Especially because by this point we have specced a bit into vigor and can tank most hits. Now, I expected Dragonlord Placiduous X to be more resistant to Dragon Cult spells. Turns out I either severely overestimated Placiduous X, or I severely underestimated Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike. Regardless of which is true, Placiduous X did not live up to my idea of him as a potential run ender. Pretty convenient that I specced a bit into vigor after MacLeod. After that we have Via Sims and Fortisax. I'm glad we had Via Sims, mostly because it gave me an excuse to use Lanciax Glaive, which otherwise would have gone completely unused in this run. And I wasn't dreading Fortisax after just experiencing Placiduous X. There is no way that Fortisax could be a much bigger menace. On another note, I hate Fortisax as a boss fight. For me, it's the least fun boss in the entire game. Mostly because of its staggers. And what I mean by that is whatever it does, it staggers you. Fortisax flaps his wings, you get staggered. Fortisax hits you with an attack, you get staggered. Fortisax misses you with an attack, but a lingering hitbox hits you, you get staggered. The timed lightning that strikes while you're near him staggers you. He misses his two-handed plunge attack. If you get hit by the shockwave, it still staggers you. Being hit by the breath weapon puts you into the tumbling animation, which is the only thing more annoying than just being staggered. And it's because of that for me, Fortisax is by far the least favorite boss, because the stagger is like Renala's first phase, without any of the silly goofiness of Renala's first phase. And otherwise it's still just a dragon boss fight, which there are better ones out there, mostly the ones that last shorter. I forgot that Gideon is a boss fight in this game. Godfrey, or to be more precise Horalu, is still my favorite boss fight in the whole game. First phase was a bit boring and unengaging because of the lightning spells taking a long as time to cast and forcing me to constantly be retreating to get in attacks. Second phase in this regard is even a bit worse. And this is the first time I really actually noticed the lack of poise damage I'm dealing, because in the Horalu fight it's usually poise damage that allows you to go in and be aggressive. Always being on the retreat kind of dampens the fun a little bit, but it's still Horalu, he forces you to engage and is, in my opinion, still the most fun fight in the game. And definitely the most fun fight of this run. And, with the first Elden Lord finally dead, we can move on to one of my most feared matchups, Radagon. As stated before, Radagon was for me one of the by far scariest bosses and a potential run ender due to his spell parry mechanic. Little did I know, Radagon doesn't parry Lightning Spear. I don't know why, maybe it's a bugged interaction or something, because out of all the spells that I have at my disposal, you'd expect Lightning Spear to be the most parryable one. Still, he never did parry, which made the fight significantly easier and no longer a potential run ender. Mind you, the fight still took me 2 hours because I never learned Radagon, I never learned his moveset, and I also never learned the proper openings to attack, as I would have a weapon that deals poise damage and I could just rush him down. This time, sadly, that was not the case, and I actually had to kinda sort of get good a little. Also, this is the first time in the run where I realized that I haven't really upgraded mind. But hey, I guess we got this far, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. With Radagon gone and us having enough FP and health flasks to last us the whole beast fight, we go on to Elden Beast. Mind you, it's still Elden Beast, and combines all of the tediousness of running 10 minutes on a treadmill with all of the gameplay of running 10 minutes on a treadmill. After our super clean and not sketchy at all victory over Elden Beast, we make our way to the Helic Tree to fight not one, but two disabled women. And then it's time for the other disabled woman, this time the one that gets naked. Also, this fight was pretty easy because, well, Malenia is super passive at range, which this mostly is, and you can easily keep her in the water the entire time, which enables us to deal extra damage because she's in the water. After the first, mind you, rather trivial phase, we go into the second one where we still keep doing the same thing, only with a bit more panic in our movements.
I got naked. Now I can finally stream on Twitch.
Another thing I didn't know was that she can just straight up miss her Scarlet Aeonia attack. Which is good for us, I guess. Once we are done with the tediousness of the Malenia fight, we can finally go access Volcano Manor, collect the Earth Race Seal, and get to fighting Rykard. Now, I have only fought Rykard without a Serpent Slayer once before, so I didn't know how this was gonna go, and I was just hoping that Ancient Dragon Lightning Strike would carry us through the fight. And, spoiler alert ahead, it did. Once Richard has been disposed of, all that's left is the victory lap of a fight that is Mu, Lord of Blood. Once he finally falls, we can enter the ending cutscene, and with that, this run is finally over. Next up, I'm gonna be doing rune level 1, and stick around if you wanna see that. And other than that, thanks for watching, and hope you have a nice day. See ya.
Let us go together. My dear consort eternal.